Hi, thank you for coming and listening. So my name's Keith Ramsdale, and we're a new consumer-led entertainment platform for VR. So before I start, I'm going to ask you to just use your imagination for a second. Imagine you've got a headset on, and you're going to, as a consumer, go into this vast atrium, beautiful atrium, and you'll go in there free of charge. And around you, this is going to be a very social space. And you'll be represented by your avatar. And your avatar is going to be customizable using a companion app. And the companion app will also show you around the space, tell you where to go. It will navigate, it will show you trailers. So you don't always have to be in your VR world to see what's going on. You'll see in the atrium, and you'll see some images very shortly, there are gates. And you'll pay a subscription charge to enter the gates, the portals, and behind each of the gates will be a gaming experience. And with your subscription fee, you'll get to enjoy those gaming experiences. And then we're launching, in the process of raising a fund through an ICO. So we're launching a token, and the token will allow you then access to premium content. So that premium content will be additional content from the games. And then later on, once we've got launched, which will be next summer, there'll be esports tournaments, there will be cinematic events, live sports, and gigs, concerts, and other live events we may not yet have thought about. So that's the idea. You'll see yourself in a big interactive social environment. It's a very social, community-driven event. And the reason I'm here now is that we're looking for VR developers to partner with us to populate the space behind those gates for consumers to go and enjoy. So I've kind of mentioned this now already. So here you'll see, oh, and I must press a button. So first of all, it starts with interactive entertainment. That's where it begins. I think that's where most people's journey into VR begins, is with a gaming interactive experience. Next to that then are premium events, I've mentioned, sporting, cinematic, and esports. And then the bit I didn't mention. So I'm going to show you who we're partnered up with shortly, but on the Unreal Engine, we're going to be creating something called Terraformer. And this is going to be a very easy to use, but very powerful tool for players to create their own content. And the second reason why we're launching an ICO with this is that the token, once you're in, premium content and everything else will be paid for using the token. Equally, if you create content, you can sell that content and your proceeds will come via the token. And of course, at some point, you may choose to cash out, and you can cash out for real money or convert into Ethereum or Bitcoin, another token as you choose. So that's going to be a very powerful and, we think, highly used tool for user-generated content. So here's just some early imagery. This is very early imagery. We're in prototype form now. We're about to go to production. This is on Unity. We're going to build this in Unreal. If games, by the way, although we're building on Unreal, we can use games made in any engine, and we can adopt that into Terra Virtua. But it gives you an idea. You can get the imagery that I ask you to try and imagine, a great big atrium. It could look completely different from this, but it gives you a feel as to what the thing could look and feel like. And on the left there, you'll see, we call them the V-Flect. There's your avatar. And we've already got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of types of V-Flect, and it will be infinitely customizable. So there's the companion app. Again, we're moving very rapidly with iterations of this. And you can see there on the right side, this was done in a back garden, as you can see. This is how it will work. So you can use it to actually go into the space as an AR app to access Terra Virtua and feel the atrium, see what's going on, again, without the need for wearing the VR headsets. You can do it out of home. essentially. And while you're in there, you can then, using the app, as I say, you can customize, you can book to meet up with your pals, and you can see what's happening. If it's a live event, if there's an esports event, you can schedule that to come and see. You can also watch trailers, all the stuff you'd expect out of a good companion app. I think you probably all know this. If you're in this room, you're interested in VR, and you've also got a high expectation of VR. We keep this slide in. Obviously, we talk to investors as well as potential partners. We're very excited about the future of VR. VR's tough right now as a consumer market, but come 2020, that's where we see it exploding. Santa Cruz coming from Oculus is going to be an exciting step. And we see, it's tricky because there's so many different views from different analysts on where VR is going to be, but it doesn't really matter. Even if you take the low end of what analysts are saying, it kicks off in 2020, it goes right the way through 2023, and the numbers are stellar. So if anyone was in VR 3 or 4 years ago and it didn't quite work out, fear not, it's about to work out this time round. And that's why we're launching September 29 to be ready for when the market starts. We're not being cavalier with this. We've taken a lot of time to understand the marketplace. You know, cost of hardware is coming down, hardware becoming much more accessible, becoming wireless. You're not tethered so much all the time, particularly with the new hardware coming, and the content is just getting better and better. And as we're looking for content to come into Terra Virtua, we're seeing some absolutely blow away entertainment experiences in games. We really are. And I think one of the things is just that, you know, the killer app that makes people go, I've got to get a headset, that looks awesome. And I think that's starting to appear, I really do. So what's in it for, one, the consumer, and then two, the developer? So I'll come on to the developer in just a second. So for the consumer, for the player, I've already spoken a little bit about this. So the purchase and sale of in-app items. So when that's done, we'll, if a player buys or sells in-app items, a split of that will go to the owner of the developer who owns the content. I worded that completely wrong, but you get the message. So if you're a developer, you'll get a cut of in-app purchases. Trading of items with other players, that's going to happen. It's very easy to do, and it'll be seamless and non-sticky. Selling of their own user-generated content. That's very important. It's going to happen with the token. The token is going to be created in such a way we make that very straightforward. I won't go into detail because I won't have time, but I'm very happy to follow up with anyone who wants to know more about that. But we'll kind of do that off-grid, if you like, is probably the easiest way to describe it, so that people don't have to go through an exchange to make those transactions. Single currency valid across all experiences. You know, I come from Electronic Arts. I worked there for a long, long time. You know, one of the issues in the big publishers, as everybody will know, is that every game has its own currency, and they're not interchangeable. By having an in-platform currency, they'll work across all franchises, and it's real. So if you want to check out and you want to realize that into fiat or other, you know, Bitcoin or Ethereum, you can do so. And so there you are, real value, it's not virtual. So for developers, obviously the blockchain allows immediate payments. We're not going to ask you to wait 60 days, as is customary in this industry. The revenue that we achieve through subscription will be apportioned, largely based on time spent in your experience, in the game that you have put behind the gate. The share is 20/80 as opposed to 30/70. On an ongoing basis, that's not a beginning basis, that's an ongoing basis. We're going to have a very active marketplace, very active, and we're talking at the moment about how that will sit in the atrium, but it's going to be very prevalent. And people have been talking to me today and yesterday, as I've been talking to people about, you know, having their own store, how could that look? It was really interesting conversations and engagement about how that could be, to make it easy for players in their favourite franchises to be able to consume content. Esports, it's obvious how prevalent esports will be. I see two opportunities particularly, so new VR esports events, and obviously that generates income and sponsorship opportunities, as well as VR broadcast of existing esports events. And finally, for developers, is the opportunity to purchase zones. So it's not infinite, we are keeping it limited, but you can buy space and you could create a whole area for yourselves. You will purchase that with a TVA with our token. And of course there'll be advertising opportunities to signpost consumers to your gate, particularly as the place grows. Is that me done? No. We've signed with two big partnerships with us, obviously Epic and Unreal and the Terra Virtua, and then also Wax. You may be familiar with Opskins. So that's an in-game asset marketplace. We've signed up with Wax. Wax will appear within Terra Virtua and vice versa, and that's a really good partnership for us, really good, and for them and for the player. That's the grey-haired team that have pulled this together. The reason there's not many of us. The reason we put this up is it's credibility, really. So I was at EA for 18 years, and Doug was at Warner Brothers for a long time. Kish at PlayStation VR for a long, long time, and Gary, he started Ocean Software all those years ago. So the reason we put that up there is we're around the block. We know people, and we sort of know how to get a business up and running. And I think I've got a video. I don't quite know if that's going to operate. Do you have to click, or does... If it works, it works. If not... so you'll see www.terravirtua.io. So please go and have a look. There's a white paper on there, but there's lots of assets, and it will tell you more about what we're doing. And you can see... also, there's a developer section, and you'll see more about us. If that doesn't play, it will play on our website. So if it's not going to go, it's not the end of the world. But please make a note of that, terravirtua.io, and please have a look for yourselves. That's me in 2 minutes to go, so I timed that perfectly. In fact, the video was 2 minutes long, so I wouldn't have been able to answer any questions.
No, you would still have 5 minutes.
Oh, would I? Yeah. Oh, no. What am I going to do? Okay, so that's me. So if you do have any questions, please ask.
Yes, I will start here, then I will go there. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, very interesting speech there. Very futuristic project you have there. My question is, how are you going to manage the people that are going to use the VR? Do you have some kind of large server that manages the people in the game, or do you have multiple servers that manage them?
Yeah, so we're going to launch July 2019 is our current date. Obviously, you never sign up to a hard date, but that's our current date, 2019, July. And correct, we're going to, the things we're thinking about now are streaming capability, network capability, and servers. So we will take server capacity to be able to manage the volume of people we're expecting and forecasting to come in and through Terra Virtua.
Do you want to play the video now?
Oh, if you can. Good man. Thank you.
Terra Virtua is a virtual world platform hosting a variety of compelling and unique entertainment experiences, from video games to music concerts, esports events to live sports, and all in immersive virtual reality.
Hello, how are you? What's your name? You're here. Terra Virtua. So this is where you're gonna see everything, know everything, choose everything.
In addition to a Netflix-style monthly subscription for the games and premium events such as live sports, users will be able to enjoy a huge choice of entertainment content with friends, family, or as a solo experience. All content is protected on the blockchain, ensuring ownership is secured for content creators, and trades are conducted without risk. Terra Virtua is funding development with an initial coin offering, allowing contributors to be the first to purchase the dedicated currency tokens, the Terra. Terra is used to trade items within the ecosystem and also forms the backbone of the Terra Virtua economy, ensuring content creators always receive due payment from resales via smart contracts. We also introduced Terraformer, a powerful toolset derived from the Unreal Engine, allowing users to create their own incredible VR games and experiences. Backed by an impressive management team of successful and seasoned executives from such companies as Microsoft, Sony, EA and Activision, the company has the knowledge, experience and capability of making Terra Virtua the most exciting innovation in the entertainment sector. Terra Virtua, the home of immersive reality entertainment.
Thank you for the talk. It has been really interesting. I have a question related to the user-generated content that you basically pay the user with a token, and you can exchange that token into real bitcoins. Or so. My question is: I saw yesterday a guy who wrote a Blender script that generated thousands and thousands of content procedurally. How do you validate this kind of behavior which might impact on the coin economy?
So we won't pay a user to create the content. The creator makes the content and then we'll sell that on Marketplace. And then they'll have a value based on the value of that piece of content that another user will then buy off that person that created it, and will use a token to pay for that. And then as far as cashing out, just what I alluded to slightly earlier, you'll have, if you like, an internal in-platform transaction, and it's only when you, and this is for speed, so that it's just for speed. So what you then don't have to do is do a formal transaction every single time. So when you want to cash out, you then go onto the exchanges. And that's just to save the transaction time within the game. So we're working on that, by the way, but that's our current thinking to reduce friction within the platform. But that's how effectively it works. So you'll have accumulated tokens through whatever, whether that's an esports reward or you've sold UGC, and then you can cash out, if assuming you want to do so.
I will allow a last question. Oh, well, now everybody wants to ask. I will see if I can get more questions. Let's go one at a time. You first.
Hi, really interesting talk. How are you going to do the age limits, and are there areas that are restricted for younger users?
Absolutely. Really, every gate will be able to have its own limits, and that can be set by the developer, but we're big on making sure that that works.
Who was the other person who wanted to ask? Yes. Sorry.
Do you have pre-made contracts or in-house developers, or do you trust that users will generate content with high enough quality that will take the whole thing from the ground?
I'm not sure how to answer that.
I mean, do you have pre-made contracts with developers to make games or content to your system, or do you trust that people or users will make the content that will make this worthwhile?
I understand. So, I may answer that correctly. So let me say how I think I should answer this. So, at the very beginning, I think anyway, in a platform, it's important that the content is strong. So when we sign up developers, we do want to sign up developers with great content. Now, what that doesn't necessarily mean is that it's got to be a AAA, everything has got to be immense and epic and of real depth, because we want something for everybody. So when we sign up, it needs to be high quality, but that doesn't mean to say it's necessarily big and deep, because people want different things. So it'll be different levels of different genres, different play times. We saw in this process, we've seen all sorts of great content, some very simple and quick to play, some long and very deep. So that's the first bit, but we are looking for quality content. The second bit about, you mean the quality of what user-generated content? Yeah, and I think there needs to, that is something that needs to be moderated. And we need to make sure that people aren't putting out something, one, inappropriate, and secondly, inferior quality. And that's something we will work with developers on around moderation.